Darren Mark. This is the week. Darren Mark is live in the woods this morning. It's the first day of, well, a very tough week for Darren.
What a day to start this, Darren.
Yeah, Darren,
Cold out there.
why don't you explain what's going on? I'll let you do it.
All right, we're calling this week a week in the woods. Now, last year in February, I took a week and I lived in an igloo that we built on the station's property.
Right.
But at 7:05, when the show was over, I went home, or I went inside, I went somewhere, and I used the things that man built so we're comfortable in life.
You slept in the igloo.
I slept in the igloo.
That's right.
But I
you
only
spent the rest of it, right.
Yeah, I only spent like 8 hours a day in the igloo. Let's say I slept there, and then, you know, I did the show from the igloo, and then I may have popped in and out during the day, but the important thing is that I would take naps at home, and I would be inside the station. I was getting warm. I was using the facilities.
Gotcha.
But this week, I'm spending the week in the woods, and I'm never leaving for any purpose whatsoever. Good thing for you guys, you don't have to see me at work. That's one plus.
No, we'll miss you.
Yeah, you liar. And so I am learning how to survive in nature with pretty much nothing man-made. I'm learning at the hand of a man named Sean Pearson.
Okay.
This guy runs a school in town called Nature Awareness and Survival Skills, NASS, and we'll have a website for you later in the show.
Okay.
You can log on to the website and find out what they do. But basically, for fun, this guy goes to remote areas of the world and challenges himself to live for, like, you know, weeks at a time. Sounds crazy, but he likes doing it. So he is sharing the love of that with me all week long.
So you're not going to have a tent?
Was that done?
No tent?
No tent?
No tent, no sleeping bags, no pillows, no nothing. All I'll have for warmth is my jacket. For pillow action, I'll have leaves. We're building a shelter out of leaves. Actually, all today, we're building something called a debris shelter. And Sean tells me, Sean's gathering leaves right now, but he tells me that the amount of leaves that I have before me is only about enough for, I'd say, a quarter or a half of a shelter.
What?
So, yeah, that's how many.
Boy.
Because it's like 32 degrees outside right now, so we need enough leaves to insulate our bodies. But he says, once you finish building the shelter warms up to the temperature of your body as long as the temperature outside doesn't dip below 0.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing.
This week, so.
That's what we're doing today, and then during the rest of the week, we're covering other survival things. For instance, tomorrow we're building something called a Beaugerol. A Beaugerol is a device you can use to start a fire. You don't need flint. You don't need matches.
Wow.
You just use this device.
You're really going for it, aren't you?
Some would say overboard.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think it'd be very interesting. We'll learn a lot this week, and we hope you stay warm. We really do.
He's an Eskimo kiss right about now. How you doing there, buddy?
Great.
We're concerned about you. We really are.
I'm blowing you kisses, Darren.
Oh, thanks, Normie.
I'm not Darren, but I'm still thinking about you.
How you doing?
There's nothing that's more comforting than Doug Embledge talking about Eskimo kisses at 5 in the morning.
How you doing?
Well, you know, it's funny. This morning, it's all smiles. We're like, woo-wee, we're out in nature. How fun. But in 2 days, I'm going to be, like, hating the ground that I walk on. I'm going to be cursing out this whole experience. It's going to be filled with warm fuzzies, basically, is what I'm saying. Out here, starting day 1 of a week in the woods. Currently, I'm building a debris shelter with the help of this guy. It's Sean Pearson from the Nature Awareness and Survival School. All morning long, we're constructing our nature hovels. And when we come back, we'll show you how we're doing it. Stay with us.
Going to be living in the woods for a week, and he did not go with a tent, did not go with a sleeping bag. He's getting help from a survival expert this week.
That's right. Hey, Darren, how's it coming? You're building those shelters, debris shelters, they call them?
Yeah, we're still gathering the leaves, and we're fitting our sticks to work in the context of the debris shelter. This guy is Sean Pearson. Sean is a survivalist expert with the Nature Awareness and Survival School, which is based right here in Rochester. They give classes for folks in town who are looking for ways to survive in nature with basically nothing man-made at all, and that's our hope this week, to get through the entire week with very little man-made. We've got a knife, and anything else we're taking with us?
Our clothes.
Yeah, our clothes, and that's about it. All right, the debris shelter. Anytime I say we're making a debris shelter to people, they're like, you're making a shelter out of refuse? And Well, in a way, you are out of
Right.
nature's refuse.
Yeah, the idea behind a debris shelter is just collecting bits and pieces of nature and mounting them up into a pile and sleeping in them.
All right, let's start with this huge pole that we got. We just cut this off from a tree nearby.
Uh-huh. This is called our ridge pole, and this has to be your height plus your arm height, and this is going to be the main beam for the structure that we're going to be making.
All right, let's start building this. How do we use the ridge pole to make the shelter?
Okay, we're basically just going to put it up on a rock or a stump. This is where your feet are going to go, so it needs to be high enough to accommodate your feet. And then we're going to put a couple branches down here to hold the other end up.
This is like this old debris shelter. This is great. We just need the music. I can be the Bob Vila of our week here. Except I'm actually doing something this time around. You know, he does nothing in that show.
Yes, that's true. So we're making like a little pup tent. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all these sticks along here and make a frame. And then we're going to pile a lot of debris on top, which in this case is leaves.
It's cold now. It's in the 30s. And I imagine it's going to be cold every night this week. How's this thing going to protect me from the freezing cold?
A debris shelter can take you down to about 0 degrees, and you'll stay body temperature inside. And you won't be wearing this coat, and you won't be wearing anything, your gloves. You're going to be wearing your T-shirt and maybe some long underwear, a hat, and socks. And you'll climb into it, and you'll be nice and toasty.
All right, we'll see.
Wow.
We're going to come back a little bit. We'll make some progress on the shelter, and we'll take you through this week.
All right, thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Darren.
Darren. We'll be right back.
Okay. And Darren, how's it coming so far?
It's coming along pretty well. I'd say we've been working on this thing for about half hour or so, and we've got the frame set up, but we still need to put our wooden ribs on the side of this frame, and then we eventually have to cover it with leaves. We're doing one for myself. We're also doing one for Sean, our survivalist expert, who's actually going to be sleeping overnight with me in a separate shelter all this week. When we come back, more in the debris shelter, more with Sean. Stay with us.
Tell us what you're doing, Darren. You're going to live out here in the woods for a week.
Yeah.
No sleeping bag, right? You didn't bring a sleeping bag.
No.
No sleeping bag,
tent.
no
blanket?
pillow.
Yeah,
no,
nothing.
no, not. I didn't even bring my favorite blanket that I sleep with at home every night. It's blue and fluffy. I've been sleeping with that. All right.
You're binky.
But seriously, I'm living out in the woods all week long. A lot of folks remember when I lived in the igloo last year. The difference between that and this is I went home after the show. I had 8-9 hours of indoor time, whereas this time around, I'm outside the whole time. I'm working with a survivalist expert. His name is Sean Pearson. He runs the Nature Awareness and Survival School right here in Rochester. Folks can take classes and learn how to do this if they want to. And we're building a debris shelter, which is basically a shelter that's made out of leaves and sticks.
That's correct.
Now, you say this thing keeps us warm. What happens if A, there's a windstorm, and I heard there's going to be 50-mile-an-hour winds later in the week, and B, if it rains?
Well, we are going to pile a lot of leaves on it, and when the wind blows, you'd think they blow away. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a lot of these little sticks like this and lay them over the top of the leaves, and it will prevent them from blowing away. It'll protect the leaves and keep them in place. In the rain, you'll be perfectly dry. There won't be any rain any water at all on you.
Now, when I tell people what I'm doing this week, I say I'm working with this guy who does this kind of thing for fun. I say you fly to remote parts of the world and challenge yourself to survive using nothing man-made. Have I been making that up, or do you really do that?
No, I do that, and I always like to ask myself, if I have what I have on right now, could I walk out into the wild and survive? I'm constantly asking myself that. When I take the garbage out at night, I stop, I feel the weather, I say, can I survive in this? If my answer is no, I push my abilities and I make it so I can survive.
It's funny you're saying this, and Norma Holland, who's back at the studio right now, does the same exact thing every night of the week.
What?
Incredible. Yeah.
I don't take the garbage out. That's someone else's job.
Oh, I see. She just said she doesn't even take the garbage out. Forget living without her hairdryer. She can't even take the trash out.
I just can't do it.
Is this thing fun for you, or do you do it because you think you need to know how to do it?
No, I wish I knew how to do it, but it is a lot of fun. I go out, and it's your oneness with nature. You're out there sleeping in a pile of leaves. You will get a better sleep in this than you've ever had in a sleeping bag in a tent.
Wow.
All right, we're singing Kumbaya during the break.
You know what? You might not come back. You might like it out